You've put in the hours, you've built a podcast you love, but somehow it's just not taking off the way you'd hoped. Why? Well, you might be making one or more of these 5 big mistakes that hold podcast creators back from the impact, the influence, and the income they deserve. And today I'm going to walk you through each one of these so you can fix them fast and start seeing real results. Let's dive in. Hey there, I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and this is Legit Podcast Pro, where we help you build a financially sound, financially successful, and creatively fulfilling podcasting or video creation business. Now, before we get started, are you ready to take your podcast to the next level? If so, I've got a free secret video that dives deeper into what it really takes to level up your podcast success. You can check it out right now over at gordonfiremark.com/level up, all one word. Now, if you want to learn about the fundamentals of podcast growth and monetization while avoiding the most common mistakes and pitfalls, watch my on-demand training, Podcast Growth and Profit, Mastering the Fundamentals. You can get instant access to that at podcastertraining.com. All right, so now let's break down the 5 big mistakes that you might be holding onto that are keeping you from your desired goals. First off, number 1, treating your podcast like a hobby, not a business. Look, I get it. You started your podcast because you love the topic. You enjoy talking about it. But if you want real impact and influence and income, you have to treat it like a business. And that means having a clear audience strategy. Who's your podcast for? What problem does it solve? Having a monetization plan. How is this podcast going to support you financially? Legal protections. Do you have contracts in place? Do you own your brand, your trademark, your copyrights? If you don't have these things set up, your podcast is just another expensive hobby and not a real asset that you can grow and that can serve your audience long term. So fix it. Start by treating your podcast like a business. Set goals. Develop a revenue strategy. Get your legal house in order. And if you need help with that legal side, my Easy Legal for Podcasters program walks you through all of this in detail. All right, mistake number 2, ignoring your intellectual property. This is one of the fastest ways to lose control of your podcast, failing to protect your intellectual property. This happens when you don't own your podcast name because it was never trademarked, or you use unlicensed music or clips and open yourself up to copyright issues, or you collaborate with others without written agreements, and that leaves you vulnerable to disputes, disagreements, and ownership battles. If someone else trademarks your podcast name before you do, well, they could force you to rebrand, and that's expensive, frustrating, and completely avoidable. So how do you fix it? Well, secure your brand with a registered trademark. Use only licensed or original content in your show. Have contracts for your co-hosts, guests, collaborators, really anybody who comes in the slightest bit of contact with your show. And if you need legal forms to get started, head on over to podcastlawforms.com. Now, mistake number 3 is hoping for growth instead of engineering it. Too many podcasters hit record, they publish, and then they hope. They're waiting for their audience to just find them. But that's not how things work. The most successful podcasters don't just create, they strategically promote. So how do you fix this? Well, collaborate with other podcasters in your niche. Leverage video. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, and it's fast overtaking some of the big podcast search engines and podcast players. Repurpose your content into blog posts, audiograms, and social media clips for wider reach, and build an email list so you're not at the mercy of platform algorithms. If you're just posting and hoping, it's time to start marketing intentionally, because that's what will bring in the audience, not luck. Mistake number 4 is failing to monetize early enough. Lots of podcasters wait too long to start monetizing. They think, oh, I need thousands or tens of thousands of downloads before I can make money. That's not true. You don't need huge numbers to start making money. What you need is the right strategy. The best fix for this is selling your own products or services, courses, coaching, memberships, consulting, professional services, whatever. Or you could offer premium content on a tier through Patreon, Supercast, or Apple subscriptions. Or you could leverage affiliate marketing, get paid for recommending products that your audience loves, or work with direct sponsors instead of waiting for the ad networks to take notice of you. Monetization isn't just about ads, and the sooner you build revenue streams, the sooner your podcaster will become financially sustainable. And mistake number 5 is ignoring or delaying the legal stuff. Too many podcasters ignore or delay this stuff and don't handle their legal matters because they think, oh, I'll deal with it later, or I'm too small for it to matter, or it's too complicated. But here's the truth. Legal issues won't wait until you're big to cause problems. The common legal pitfalls you might encounter: not having a podcast guest released, leaving you open to takedown requests, not having an LLC in place and therefore putting your personal assets at risk, not having clear agreements, and that leads to disputes with your co-hosts or other team members. So the fix is easy. Use contracts. Set up an LLC to protect your business. Get a clear understanding of copyright, trademark, and content rights. And when you handle the legal side properly, you protect your podcast and your income and your future. Plus, it's just good for your mindset and it'll help you sleep at night. So, if you've made any of these mistakes, don't worry. They are fixable. Again, you can check out my secret video over at gordonfiremark.com/level up, or take a deeper dive into growth and monetization with my free on-demand training at podcastertraining.com. And until next time, hey, keep creating, keep growing, and keep protecting what you're building. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer. This is Legit Podcast Pro, and I'll talk to you again soon.